Dude, what are you doing? We're here. We made it to your house.
Fine, back. Better than ever.
Back, clean, sober, back on television. Because you're looking up for the Feldmeister. I don't know if you ever watch a
I'm
real
gonna be famous.
I'm famous, son.
Well, how you doing, Chip?
I'm doing pretty good, man. Been out grinding, learning a little bit more about electric landscapes and what all it takes in order to make something like that happen. I want to build one of those trailers. I
Like
want to help.
the
I want you to teach me how to do it, and I want to learn how to do it with you.
all
I think
right.
that'd be fun.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
We'll make me one.
What were your first thoughts when you came on board and saw the equipment before you ever even touching anything? What did you think when you saw it? Like, is this really gonna work? Or was it holy
I
crap?
actually was more I think just impressed by the fact that it was happening. Because I think that when you hear something like that, somebody's got like an electric landscape company, you don't really understand what all that entails. It's easy to put it under a blanket of like, hey, this is good for the environment, whatever, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
When you like see all the working parts and like what it requires in order to keep that much power continuously going to your machines and stuff like that, and the ability to do it through solar and things like that is just really endlessly fascinating,
Right.
It's so
Right. When you think of electric landscaping equipment, before you knew me, before you knew what we were doing or anyone else, out doing anything electric, did you think of it just as like a residential thing, like any electric machines or for residential? Or did you ever see any commercial people doing it?
I've never seen commercial people use it. I've always been a little bit shocked though that I haven't, because I just feel like it seems like a technology that would be like ahead, in order to do things like, I don't know, be quieter, leave less of a footprint, things like that. I mean, I would just think that already would be an initiative, maybe because of things like global warming. We're starting to kind of like have people be more interested in that.
Right.
Um, I mean, as a homeowner, I owned like my mower was battery powered.
Yeah.
And I always thought that that was like super cool if like somebody was able to like figure out how to make a landscaping company that just was able to use these things that I think I owned nothing but Ryobi. Everybody like gives me a really hard time for owning Ryobi.
For residential, it's fine.
Yeah,
Yeah. I did the same. All my, power tools and stuff that were electric, they were all Ryobi. But
is that what you started with? Was Ryobi?
yeah, I started.
I used that orange one today.
The orange one, the Atlas. That was the first one I was actually really impressed with as far as battery stuff. That's the one I got from Harbor Freight. It was cheap, and it was a trimmer that I started with. And I was like, oh my God, this is so much easier. And if it breaks, all I have to do is take it back to Harbor Freight and they just give me another one.
Yeah.
Buy the extended warranty, it was like $20 or something.
I think it was Harbor Freight. And like, I think I'll be perfectly frank. I think the first time I ever really saw that like electric mowers, especially like push mowers, were even like readily available was like Walmart.
Yeah, they had that Heart brand.
But even those, like they just kind of look futuristic.
Yeah, well, the Ryobi one looked really cool, and then I got it.
I loved it.
But my only problem with the Ryobi one is the battery would not last whatsoever. Where the Alice, it's 40 volt, and it would, last longer. So my first machines were the trimmer, the Atlas. What's that? The
Atlas, the orange
Atlas. No, they're 40 volt. And then you can get like, at first it was like 2.5 amp or something like that. But now they've got their 40 or 80, depending on how you configure it, which is cool, but still their amps aren't as long. So that's why the Ego ones, which are 56 volt, still you've got like 12 amp you can get. And that thing will last you forever, especially in a push mower.
Let me also introduce myself. My name is Chip McGuire. I currently started working with Mike with E-scapes, but I've known Mike for a really, really long time. Actually, I met Mike back in like 2008. I was in a rock band called The Meaning, and formerly known as From Tomorrow's. And you had a record label called APR out of Atlanta. And so I was signed to that label for a little while. And that was my early 20s. And all these years later, we've kind of reconnected just kind of through, well, I think, through the open mic, through an open mic I host.
Through music. And then
that music today.
That time that you were Super Sod, that I hadn't seen you in a while, and then all of a sudden run to you Super Sod, or you told me that you were at Super Sod. I don't remember what it was, but we were needing Sod and then came to you.
Let me also reframe this too. I've since continued to do music, but always kind of kept a job of some sort, in order to kind of supplement music. For any of you who want to do that for a living, it's not the most consistent thing financially. It's a lot of fun. But as you get older and you have more priorities and you have other people that you have to keep alive, it's usually good to keep a really good, a good job, a good job. And so this has kind of been my current one. But one of my other jobs that I had along the way was working for a company called Supersod, which they were deal with you, just knowledge of, and it's been kind of cool getting to know the company now and see not only all the working parts of it physically, but also getting into the trenches, getting to know your customer base. Some of those people, they've been with you since you were dirt cheap. They've been with you for a long time.
Literally Dirt Cheap, the name of the first company.
One was, I think she said, I've been with.
I'm going to pause this real quick, even though it's International Dog Day. So it's nice to have them.
I think that what successfully makes these podcasts work is, first of all, consistency, where I think that you and I should do this maybe once a week.
Absolutely.
And
keep in mind the whole name, it's Learning to Escape, E-scapes. But I want it to go so much further than landscaping, electric landscaping. That is a lot of the stuff we get across, but that's what the course is for. That's what the book is for. Remind me, I'll give you a copy of the book.
Okay. Yeah.
Which we are redoing, or doing a second chapter.
Explain to everyone what book you're referring to.
The book is called Embracing Electric.
Okay.
And it's pretty much, again, I'm not worried about the competition of doing what we're doing, because I still am blown away that no one else is doing it. They are doing electric, but I yet to see people that, until the solar punk.
Are we going to call out?
Yeah, I don't mind.
All right, hey, shout out to Solar Punk Steve. Hey, we can say that you're our competition, but you're in Florida and you're actually crushing it. You're doing a great job in terms of media. I think we did see some things that we'd love to cross-pollinate, maybe give some suggestions, but then also ask some questions if you ever want to reach out, or we'll try to reach out to you guys on social media. Steve, we see you. We see you on social media.
We see you. We're what?
We see you, buddy. You're doing it. But you're doing it, though.
Yeah. And I mean, again, this all started from me not wanting to be a mechanic any longer, because, I love being an audio engineer. I love recording. I love every bit of the music industry except for the travel, the sometimes having to tell people that, yes, it sounds great when it doesn't. And when you're doing music that you can't stand. But that's kind of the part of the industry, is if you really want to make a living out of it, you either are an artist that can really sell, or you're out there all the time playing venues that have tourists, to where that's your job. Or you do have this magical hit or magical sound or whatever, there's a full spectrum of it, but it's the same way in the industry part of it as well.
Why don't we go? You want to go watch?
Also, it is somebody's birthday today. And
it is.
Yeah, I don't want to keep you too long.
No worries. No worries. I appreciate you. I was about to say, I was like, my algorithm has to be crushing it right now because it's my birthday. And I was like, dude, on Meta, if I went live right now, I bet everyone would see it.
Oh, there you go. You could do it and put it right up here or something.
Let's see. It is the B-Day. Let's see if we can work some B-Day magic.
And no, we are not sponsored yet. Coors Light, but I think
maybe they will. Around. I don't know if we can show the label.
That's not Coors Light. It's just silver.
It's called Silver Bullet. It's an off-brand.
Silver soccer ball.
It's called Silver
with a blue mountain in the middle.
Let's see.
Nice.
I think that is. Hello, everyone. We got several different angles kind of going on. We are shooting a podcast. I have just recently started a new occupation of working with my good buddy Mike here at E-scapes. I don't know if you can see the logo, but we're actually shooting a podcast that will get released. But I kind of wanted to hop on here. First of all, tell you all thank you so much for all of the birthday wishes and stuff like that. You guys, it's phenomenal. I won't say exactly how old I turn because we're not 100% sure, but
we'll just say at least 21.
At least, at the very least, I am old enough to purchase alcohol and consume this beverage here, my birthday beverage. But thank you guys so very much. And also, you will actually see a lot more clips and stuff like that from this podcast kind of moving forward as I start working into it to give you guys at home a little bit of an explanation of kind of what's going on. E-scapes is an all electric landscaping company that also is 100% solar. And I think the push initiative to try to get other landscaping companies to also go solar is inevitably going to be a huge part of what this company wants to do, what Mike wants to do. And Mike has also released a book on giving information on solar technologies, also electric, and kind of his experience.
It's about the transition, pretty much.
Yeah,
from gas to electric.
From gas to
why
electric.
We did it and how we did it.
And so we're at that point where we're trying to get this company to a place where he can really focus on trying to get other people to and teach how to do that. But right now, using E-scapes as a model, but also, I mean, grass needs to get cut. So we got to make money, son. We got to make that money, son.
Yes. Daddy needs a new pair of shoes.
Daddy does need a new pair of shoes. But before I end this live, we'll get back to, we're actually, like I said, we're still shooting this. So you'll actually see the rest of this as well as me talking over here, but you'll be viewing me from here. So it's going to be super awkward and really strange.
We like awkward.
I promise.
We like awkward and we love strange.
Yes. The stranger, the better. But you'll actually get to see me be on here a little bit more and talking about a little bit more about E-scapes, but also exploring a little bit of everything. We have a background in music also. I was signed to a record label that he had back in 2008. And so we actually have a lot of musical history as well. And we're hoping to create a little bit of history, a little bit of a musical future. We'll see. I know that hoping this whole E-scapes will be a vehicle that will get us to a lot of places we want to go.
Absolutely.
And I'm really excited about it. And I'm really thankful that you've brought me aboard, man.
Of course, brother.
I'm going to go ahead and cut this one off. But
you got it. We'll continue on here. And they can find us at E-scapes LC, which is for lawn care, which is our YouTube channel. So
and just is that where all of these episodes start airing?
Exactly.
We don't have an idea yet, guys, how often we'll want to kind of do this, but we're kind of feeling everything out as we grow.
And send questions too.
Yeah,
got them, because we don't script anything.
Yeah, send questions. If you guys have any questions about solar landscaping, about solar technologies, about the transition from that, we're really trying to leave as little of a carbon footprint as we possibly can. And I know that really follows my core values. And so hopefully you can kind of hop onto that journey a little bit with me as well.
Right. And one thing too that's huge besides just the carbon footprint is also for the people that are wanting to make more money, wanting to succeed in landscaping. Going electric is so much more efficient and you'll make so much more money because you don't have the cost of, and that's, things that are in the book and stuff that we'll talk about and more. But the efficiency of it and the help for people that are work from home, school from home, people, that, I've, got a daughter with, autism and things, with loud noises.
Yes. So, we both have daughters that are on the spectrum.
Yes. And loud noises, things like that are just so super irritating to
100%. That's actually something I didn't think about for a long time, guys. Mike actually was, one thing that in my experience from doing sanitation is that you do have to worry about noise pollution. So you're only able to start your job at a specific time. HOAs will ruin you and they will call like their local officials to try to get you shut down. And one of the things I have noticed about E-scapes is it is whisper quiet.
Mm-hmm.
It's very nice. Very clever.
Yes.
Very,
love it.
Very pleasant.
Love it.
Let me finish the left here. I love you guys. We can kind of figure out
now, tell me a little bit more about what your initial thoughts were when you came on.
Okay.
Because I'm curious to hear that. We've heard it from the other guys and they all have had, just a lot of landscape background where yours been, in the music industry and then, some residential stuff. And then I believe, way back in the day you had other, landscape background as well, but coming in just from a completely different side of things and only really knowing electric as residential, not as commercial. And then what were your initial thoughts, I guess, when you picked up a piece of equipment?
I would say if you are a residential owner of any sort of electric, like weed eaters or, any of the things like my father-in-law Tom had, my old father-in-law Tom had, has like every Ryobi thing machine that mounted. Very well, a nice display of all of the things they have to offer. But if you own any of those kinds of things, then getting into this is a lot. It does feel familiar, and there's something strangely like psychological about like using these gas powered things, because it requires so much to get it started. So,
Yeah.
and I don't know why, but like for some reason that struggle to get it to function from the get-go just makes the whole thing feel a little bit like a struggle, like you're just holding on to, I mean, you are holding essentially to an engine. Josh,
Yeah,
come here and wave.
Making an entrance.
Come here and wave. Well, Josh is one of the other people that works for E-scapes and gets out there. So he's actually been giving me a lot of really good information, techniques, and stuff like that. That's one of the things that I actually love about landscaping. It's like, I mean, cutting it seems simple to just cut grass, but like just like anything, there's always ways that you can use your equipment more efficiently and kind of work together as a team. And he's actually been really good at kind of explaining the process and kind of like their strategies and stuff like that. Josh has been an asset. It's been good.
Awesome. Because you can also kind of compare that to your music background. Like I know in the studio stuff, we were running analog, tapes, reel to reel. And when you tried to, patch something in or go through and, cut something out or punch in, like a vocal or something like that, where, it took quite a bit, where once digital came out and you had DA88s or ADATs, things like that, then you just instantly punch, or you could go, from your computer and go through and digitally punch it out.
But all those strategies change as as you start, and like, or in a more context of like teamwork, watching like a production team who works together. All right, you figure out first of all who's the producer, who's the engineer, things like that.
Right.
You create a solid hierarchy with no egos, just recognizing who's good at what. I've actually seen producers that make boo engineers, and I've seen engineers that are terrible at editing, but I can get some of the most amazing performances out of artists because they're just warm.
And band's kind of the same way too. Someone who you might think the lead singer you'll think he writes all the songs, he figures out what words to put when and everything, and then you find out it's like the drummer.
You find out that writes everything. Noel Gallagher that wrote all of the songs.
Exactly, Johnny Marr.
Yeah, something like that.
Which it's supposed to be Johnny Marr and Morrissey, but
well,
you never know what all.
I actually,
battles that still.
I only knew them as Morrissey, and I only know Morrissey because of that one song.
Oh, you never knew the Smiths?
They say something about them in a song by Brand New. She says something Morrissey, and then of course that sent me down a long.
You've got to dive into the Smiths. I mean, it was brilliant music, especially so ahead of its time.
They're terrific.
Yes.
They're terrific.
With a capital.
Who don't know that they're from the UK.
Yes.
They're just bloody terrific.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
But I would say, like, just like we were saying, the layover is that, figuring out kind of what your responsibilities, what you're good at and stuff like that. Right. Like right now, I'm not really good on those zero turns because you're
only on your fourth day, right?
Yes, I'm on fourth day. But like the zero turns, dude, they are like it reminds me of operating an old Bobcat, like one of the classic Bobcats before they had like just the one, what do you call it? Joystick.
Yeah.
You actually had to like do it like a tank, like
right.
Forwards, back, right, left. I mean, and
yes.
That's how those zero turns are, but those things are super jerky. I kind of like drove around on one today.
One thing that's different and cool about this as compared to, because before I had, X-Mars and Ferris and all Walkers, all those. And these, you can change the style. Like you can go in a custom, which is more kind of like a Cadillac where everything's kind of slow.
Where'd you get these machines?
From different places, but mainly Lowe's.
Wow. Okay.
And
So let's see. How many machines are you running? You've got 2 zero turns,
I
right?
got four. Got four.
But
But two of them are E-steers. So they actually steer. The turning radius is just like the zero turn.
Yeah. The ones with the steering wheel. Those are rad, by the way.
Yeah. They're wild. They take some getting used to.
You need to let me get some pictures of those. Like some solid
absolutely.
pictures. We need to clean up some of those machines, get some pictures out there for everybody to kind of see of what we're working with. And
yeah, they all have their pluses and minuses, I'm more comfortable on, the original zero turns because I like having the exact control no matter what kind of incline or decline I'm on. Where on the E-steer, sometimes you can get a little intimidated when you're going downhill and it's not turning the direction you want to turn. And that's something, that we also do some testing, for Ego and give them our feedback.
Yeah.
And in return, they have us test more things.
I think that one of the guys said that I think that the only there's some weird things that they had kind of dealt with were like sometimes going up hills can be a little weird, and you're going straight up a hill is gravy, but sometimes if you're turned the right way, it just kind of grabs.
Yeah, and that's where in downhill is my scariest because downhill it'll try to, whenever you're trying to maneuver and just barely make a turn, you might not be turning at all. You'll keep going straight.
Right.
Because again, it's using those back wheels to make those changes.
Right, make those turns.
And it's not as instant, and you don't have the in-between like you have when you have a lever.
Right.
When you have the steering, you still have some other component that's turning the gear or doing something that is adding another step. And I think
100%.
that's something that they're working on improving to figure out how they can make this do just as precise as this.
Okay, so
where you've got left wheel, right wheel. Instead, you got left wheel, right wheel.
I don't know if you ever operated any of those Navigator forklifts.
Yes.
So one of the things that I thought was a horrible update, especially for the piggybacks that they started putting on the backs of trucks, is they used to have one joystick, forward, back, left, right. So if you want to slow down, then you start essentially going back. It's kind of like a boat, but then they added not only just the gas. I mean, it was as simple as that. That's all you did, and then all of your fork things are all on your right hand. But then all of a sudden they started getting the ones with the steering wheels, and that's just an added thing that you got to now
overcomplicated a little bit
it's like,
to try and make it easier.
No, please don't.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they were. Keep it simple sometimes.
Now my hands are doing all these things.
Now I got twitches.
I hate it.
Twitches.
I got the twitches. But I think it's been really, really good. I am shocked, and I think that a lot of people that I have actually talked to about it, I think everybody generally has a lot of the same concerns, which is, I'm really interested in how powerful those kinds of things actually are. Do they actually hold up to a gas powered thing? Are they able to keep up? How long is the battery power? And so far, dude, we haven't gone out, and there's never been a time where we haven't had enough power. Also, your system of figuring out ways to be able to continuously charge on the go is brilliant. Especially if you go solar, then you're literally you're not paying anybody for that.
Right.
You're not paying anyone.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling that other people aren't doing it, and that's why it blows me away. And that's why I was like, screw telling all my secrets to competitors and stuff like that. When I did the book,
I
was like, it's not that there's any competition right now, and so I can go ahead and keep doing this and tell people how to do it, and hopefully help teach them to do it. And that kind of goes with my goals in the business, is to be able to step away from going out there, because as long as I have people that I can trust that will do a good job, that can figure out, hey, if battery gets low, swap it out before it dies, and make sure that you've just got it all day. Make sure your solar is on. It's actually charging batteries, not just sitting there gathering energy for nothing, know. And that was some of the problems we had in the past with, different people that come aboard and just slip their mind that, oh yeah, if we take a battery out, let's make sure the one that is dying is put on a charge, because again, we're charging for free. We're charging from the sun.
I want one of those trailers. Help you build a trailer.
You got it.
Help build a trailer, and I want a crew.
All right, let's make it happen, because I want to go out and teach others that, hey, it's not about carrying extension cords around with you. It's not about having a gas generator with you. It's not everything that we get in all these comments of people that just think, oh, your idea is ridiculous. Get over that stuff. It's, so far be honest, it's so 90s, but it's just well, thank you. Hi, I'm me. I guess I hadn't looked at myself. Mirror, mirror on the wall. But yeah, I mean, that's, the goal is to go out and teach others to do it, and then have people I can trust to where I don't have to worry about, hey, is everything okay? It's, you let me know if it's not, but I probably won't hear from you because it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
I mean, and again, it's not so much sunlight as UV now that these solar panels can capture energy from. So even on cloudy days, you're getting plenty. And then again, all that energy is getting stored into large batteries that can constantly get drained, build back up, get drained, because they're the lithium iron phosphate, which is not like the ones that explode, like people worry about, like are in drones and things like that.
Yeah, I was about to ask about.
Yeah, these are not dangerous like that. These have battery management systems in them. So they've got little computer chips inside each one of these batteries, like the big batteries that are in there, that make sure that they're not going to overheat. They're not going to overcharge. Their discharging is going to be set to parameters.
Discharge.
So I mean, exactly.
Sorry, that was we're going to have to get rid of
that. But the technology is just so insanely there. It's probably been there for so long. It's just people are slow to release it, because they want to make money off of everything else first.
Right.
But just kind of like self-driving cars, that's been around for a long time.
Oh yeah.
But they've taken, so long to release it.
It's stuff like that. It's like, I don't know. I was always given, I don't know how close this actually, okay. I don't know. Like, all right. So I remember being a kid and everybody always saying, oh, the government is like 20 years ahead of whatever is available to, and they used to always say, oh yeah, our military is like 20 years ahead of whatever the public currently has. I don't know, like, if that's true, but I mean, it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, I mean, that's, of course.
Also, like, which government?
Yeah.
Like ours, theirs, who is they?
Right. And that probably slims down to a very small amount of people. But that's probably for even another podcast, because we could really go deep into that.
I was about to say, I was like, I know that there has been a push back on solar technologies and stuff like that. Because I mean, much like, look at the like paper companies, with hemp, like, any industry that sees itself going out of business or losing any money is obviously threatened by something like that. Who would you say is feeling the heat the most from solar technologies?
I mean, well, energy. As far as gas,
petro,
yeah,
straight petro.
I don't know, have you? But even way before any of this stuff, back when Tesla was not talk about Tesla the car, but Nikola Tesla.
Sorry, Elon.
When he had, send me a Cybertruck for free, please. Like I've asked, but
when third party
he was talking about,
baby.
Finding wireless energy where you could have electricity. Put bulbs where they did a little test where they put bulbs in the ground and stuff, and they were lighting up.
Yep.
All the stuff that's going on. He fronted it as, I think, like a telecommunication tower or something like that. Yeah. But then they found out it wasn't.
It was actually providing free energy for everybody.
Right. And then JP Morgan and them, who own, paper stuff, everything that had everything to do with selling electricity goes and is like, okay, well, how do we put a meter on it? How do we charge for it? How do we make money from it?
No, that's not the point. The point is to give free, sustainable energy for everybody. And they're like, yeah, but you can't make money.
Yeah, exactly. So we can't do that. And that's the thing, that's always going to be irritating about stuff. But, that's where we just think outside the box and work on the stuff ourselves to figure out what is available to us and use it to the best and most efficient way. And when it comes to landscaping, would you rather be fixing machines that are broken down because you didn't mix a fuel mixture right, or pulled a string too hard and it broke because you couldn't get the thing to fire because the plugs were bad, or something like that? Or have something where every time you push that button, it's going to do what you want it to do. And if it's not doing it, you probably just need to switch batteries.
I would say one of the things actually, like, all right, so my partner, Leah, drives an EV. And one thing that I love about EVs is, like, there's no like latency or anything weird about that. You go, you stop. You go, you stop. And you know what? Those machines are all like that too. The weed eaters, everything. which is actually kind of, I don't know, there's something like that makes you feel wildly in danger because you are when you use certain machines, like you rev it up and then it just kind of goes for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
But these things, it's like, wow.
Right. And you're not really working with almost a bomb. It's a combustible engine. So it's combusting inside. It's making spark, it's making flame, it's making power. And again, I'm not saying there's something wrong with it. It was a great technology
It is bad
as
for
it,
the environment.
but now
It's not good.
but I also know how lithium gets mined. And so that's not great.
Yeah, that also is.
But
that's the thing. All right,
again,
what do you think is the
but if these
payoff?
but if these batteries,
Which one's worse? Which one do you think is actually worse?
I wish I knew enough of where I could find real answers on the stuff, statistics, to be able to know exactly.
This is going to be on
And
YouTube.
so,
If anybody knows any more information than that, post in the comments. Maybe if you have any references to some information where we can view it, or if you have information, let us know. We're trying to learn as well.
things I did learn though is how harmful the toxins are that come from those exhausts. And I know how, you've got your emissions tests and stuff like that for your vehicles. And I know what a joke that is, because if you have enough money, then you don't have to worry about passing emissions, because if you show that you've paid all this money in repairs, then they'll magically give you your sticker anyway. And it's like, okay, well then, so the point is, and that's what I even told someone at a tag office, is like, okay, I can't get this truck to pass emissions and I keep spending so much money on it. Like, well, when you have your receipts up to X amount, then we'll go ahead and it's like, okay, so if I just make up some BS receipt that says I spent all this money, y'all would give me a tag. So you're telling me to be dishonest? She goes, well, that's not what I'm telling you, sir. But I was like, but, but again, one of the main things that when we were looking into what it is you're breathing, I mean, even formaldehyde and stuff like that, that comes out of the exhaust, it's in the air that's polluted from, blowers, especially blowers, but, from the exhaust of these. And then also, like we were just talking about, is the deafness, especially being in a music business, the decibel amount that is hitting your ears is way above deafening.
I didn't know as much about. All right, hold on. I got to sneeze.
God bless you.
Excuse me. I didn't really actually know until like I owned a pair of like what the Apple AirPods or something like that, and over time it'll like tell you how much sound you're actually receiving, like what's going through your ears and stuff like that, and you start
how many decibels.
And some of the music that I'm listening to, I don't even think it's not really all that loud, but they're like, certain frequencies are like really not great for your ears. But like, you don't realize that how much noise pollution you're actually putting in through your ears over time. That
and giving to others that, what did they do to deserve it? Why do they have to sit there and hear it? And again, when you're hitting anywhere around the 80 mark, you're risking damage. Where some of these are, way in the 90s. If they've got muffler issues, they could be up into the 100. Right. Where we are, averaging at our highest level 60 something. So I mean, there's a huge difference right there. So there's one big benefit, but then the list goes on. You got, the deafness. So it's ear pollution, noise pollution. You've got actual, inhalation, issues. So another pollution that way.
Right.
And I mean, there's just so many factors on that part, along with the benefits of efficiency, of being able to make more money. The crew's not feeling like they're having to do so much just to get prepared for a day.
I'm not going to lie. I never really liked being in a box truck that also was carrying gasoline, like dozens of gallons of gas,
and going back and working with it, and little spills or just the fumes getting all over your hands and stuff. And by the time you get back or go to lunch and you go to eat a burger, you're like, oh my God, it tastes like gas. Or, have some kind of meeting or something at lunch. You can't because you stink.
It's also like just inherently, like, I don't know what it is, but like using electric is just cleaner. It just like is like I've been working all day, guys. I worked in like one of my favorite jackets of all time, and it just is cleaner. I just don't smell like gas and stuff.
And that's something that we try to kind of, pride ourselves on when we're talking to these HOAs and different commercial properties, or, like elderly homes, like nursing homes, things like that. is we don't look disgusting all day. If we're sweaty, it's because it's hot,
right?
Something like that. But we're not just covered in, just this fumes, the smell, the heat that radiates off those machines too. I mean, it's a whole different look and feel that I see in all the guys and all the crew.
Yeah,
that is just different, and it's honestly, they seem more upbeat and happy about the day and happy about the job and everything because they're not just so miserable.
maybe.
But I mean, it's a huge difference. So it gives us more of kind of a VIP look. And then again, we could focus more on the service we're providing, and people can focus more on the service that they're getting, not the nuisance and annoyance that we are, because we no longer are that. Half the time, they don't even know we're there. I mean, we'll get messages saying, "I thought you guys were coming today." It's because they haven't stepped outside and they didn't look and see that it's beautiful and it's been done.
I didn't even hear you guys come through. I know. You're
Didn't
welcome.
hear you, didn't smell you.
You're welcome.
Exactly. And then they pay their bill instantly.
I think I think it's funny to not get noticed until you're blowing off their like driveways and stuff.
Right. You're doing the gutters and they hear someone on the roof.
Oh,
it's not Christmas. I didn't Santa Claus.
It might be Christmas in August already.
Well, on another note, on one of the, to kind of wrap this one up, I want to talk a little bit about, you just released an album because you were with a record label.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that, where you're at now musically.
We had actually for the general public that's out there, I had addressed it a little bit earlier before I was kind of went live and stuff like that, but I have been a recording artist through the since you and I have worked together back in 2008. So I mean, I never stopped being a musician, and also doing that tentatively, for a living. One of the things I've kind of gotten out of doing is like playing the cover gig scene. It's just grueling. I'm getting older. I would like to focus more on being a songwriter. So actually being able to take on a job like this has been like perfect, to be able to kind of have something to supplement that, but then also kind of give me the freedom to be able to also focus, and also using that just overall as a vehicle to kind of push this new initiative. I was signed to a record label out of Nashville for a little over a year, but that was unfortunately going sour. So I recognized that I was going to have to kind of do a lot more heavy lifting and learn some skills that I didn't have before. All of that is
like distribution, things like that.
Things like distribution. Because when I was originally signed to and I don't know if I want to name.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't worry about name dropping.
Like I'm not somebody who's here to just trash
Flux
anybody.
Capacitor Records.
Right.
How's that?
But regardless,
That's not really the name, by the way.
Yeah.
In case there is a Flux Capacitor. I know there's a band called Flux Capacitor. Sorry,
that actually is not a bad record label. We should start our own record label.
Yes.
But they were originally distributing everything through Universal Records. But when they didn't renew when Universal didn't renew their contract with TikTok this last year, I think business changed a lot, especially for independent record label or independent people. I mean, obviously, like Taylor Swift, God bless you, you didn't like suffer from your songs not being on TikTok, but I definitely did. Yeah, that was already starting to kind of become a bit of an issue, but now I'm fully independent. I did distribution on my own and released my EP a couple of days ago. It's called Among the Willows EP. It is streaming anywhere: Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer. I don't know. Like, there's a lot of things that were listed on there that it distributes to.
Yeah.
But I don't use any of them. Well, I guess I do now.
The package deal.
Right. There is a package deal. But I'm still pursuing that very actively, while also trying to understand and educate myself a little bit more in what you're kind of doing. And I think I've always thought that a job like this would be perfect for, at least for me as an individual. I'm Filipino by blood. I like to use my hands. I like to be outside. That's mentally and emotionally is a really great time and a place where you're able to kind of be by yourself, do something productive physically, but then also be able to put your mind in a place wherever you need it to go.
Yep.
Jobs like this, sanitation, that's where actually I do a lot of most of my writing, because I don't write with a guitar in my hand. I'm constantly kind of running scenarios and plays through my head through knowledge of theory and just kind of doing repetition, stuff like that. I'm really good at mapping things out in my head of what I want to hear. But having that, I don't know, occupation to do something that is productive, but also put your mind somewhere, has actually always been phenomenal for me. So I'm
It's
actually
kind of
really
like
excited about
meditation
that.
almost.
No,
That's what I
100%.
find to me. It's
100%.
being out there and just being able to think, talk with yourself, talk with God, how you know,
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
But I mean, you get this clarity
And
that
also
is
visually
unreal.
be doing something that you're visually able to see that you're making a difference,
Right.
and beautifying something or making it
Yep.
better.
See
So
the
you
start
feel
and
that
completion.
dopamine kick of getting something accomplished, as well as being able to put yourself in a flow mentality of kind of
Absolutely.
like, I actually am really excited about being able to get out here, especially when I'm able to get my own, my own crew, and be able to kind of have my mornings where like I can just be as weird as I want to be, because
Yeah.
it's, and
It's a beautiful thing.
I mean, dude, what a cool, I can't think of anything cooler than to just be outside, like doing that. I mean, I love yard work already. Like I
Mhm.
love being a homeowner when I was one, and working on it, modifying it was already wildly fun. But then to be able to kind of like do that for other people, and then also
And see the looks on their
pursue.
face too when they actually see that you had the same vision or even a better vision that they didn't see, and how, they tell you some kind of project they want or how they want something to look,
Mhm.
and you take it either to that or above and beyond that, and that look or the thank you, or even sometimes people in tears, just like
There's something
finally someone gets it, and it's just the best feeling. It's so rewarding.
I
It's not
think.
like you ask that from everybody, but man, when you do get it, it's like,
Have you
that
ever
is
really thought about it? It's like I would say that middle class, like and even like slightly below middle class, it's a phenomenon that it's not just an affluent thing to want to make your home look beautiful and find ways to be able to do it, and feel good about connecting with the earth that surrounds your house.
mhm. Making it yours to have some character to it.
People want to do that inherently, no matter what. And I think that it's interesting to be able to be in a position where you're kind of able to kind of collaborate with people on being able to kind of just have this connection with
You know,
the
work
earth
with
around them.
them on their ideas, not try to prove how your idea is better. You're
Dude,
the
I've
one they
actually,
hired, and
dude,
I can't stand
no,
that.
no disrespect to anybody who does hardscapes, but I've known a lot of you, and some of you guys are bulldogs and bullies.
Yeah,
You're like,
and
no,
see,
no, 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 no. Or you could do that.
we never advertise too much hardscaping, because when we do hardscaping, it's usually to fix something else that someone else did,
Gotcha.
or someone's idea that they wouldn't take the customer's plan or vision seriously. Instead, they made it their own and said, no, we're going to do this. And then a year or two later, it started cracking or it fell apart or something like that. And the thing you don't realize is you don't know these people, you don't know their background, and sometimes they're just trying to make their other partner happy and just being like, okay, fine, go with it, go with these people, whatever. But they're not building the ghost wall, behind something, or they're not, doing the proper drainage around it. So they know it's not going to last that long, but they hate the confrontation for one, or make the other person happy because they really liked it. They didn't want to burst their bubble. They hope that maybe they will do a better job. They will do things right. But then, when you find out it didn't, rather than going, oh, I told you so, they come and they ask someone else, hey, do you got an idea of someone? Or they'll ask us if, hey, what should I do about this? And then we give them our feedback, our honest feedback. And then it's kind of like you see this little light bulb, or not really a light bulb because I already had the idea, but just this sense of security of like, oh, finally, this person gets it. They understand what we're talking about. And this time it'll be done right. And that's huge. And that's
Like,
rewarding.
what what would you say, like, is there any limits to what what E-scapes is able to offer in terms of beautification, because I know that there are a lot of people that are like trying to tackle different things for their homes, actually don't even think about all the different aspects of it until they become a homeowner. And they're like, I need to fix this, I need to fix that, I need to fix this, I need to fix that. But I know that you've done everything from concrete. I know you guys have done, you know, a lot of front of like HOAs and stuff like that. So that requires everything from doing mulch, pine straw. Does E-scapes
retaining
offer?
walls. I mean, we can do pretty much anything.
And you do it all electric.
We try to.
At this
You know,
point,
like, you know, when we were breaking down the concrete, you know, we use electric jackhammers as opposed to gas.
Really?
You know, there's just
you
some
were able
stuff.
to find an electric jackhammer.
Yeah, we're using electric jackhammers.
I didn't even know that existed.
Some of the big things, you know, that we're still having some issues with is like, you know, skid steers and bobcats and things like that are electric and not gas.
Because I don't think that they exist, do they?
I mean, there's some, but
finding electric,
bobcats and skid steers and things like that. I know they've got some, but most of them you see like on Temu or something, and you know the quality, or if you're actually going to get it, is questionable.
Got you. So at this point, you're only limited because of availability of like what's even out there in order to use.
See you later, buddy. But we can do, I mean, absolutely, you know, pretty much anything. I think what is also limiting us is what we have going on right now with, you know, full solar electric landscaping is so big, and it's on such a high demand now that people realize, especially people in these HOAs where we're not even doing the lawns of the HOAs, we're doing the common areas, but they're seeing us taking videos, taking pictures, being like, where's the electrical cord? Or, you know, how are they keeping this charged and stuff? And then they stop and ask. Finally, someone does. And then they realize, because a lot of times you don't see the solar panels on top of these trailers and trucks,
right?
Because they're hidden, and the new technology isn't where they have to tilt or have to be, you know, so big and bulky. Like on the small trailer, you never even know that they're on there because they're all the little flexible ones.
I think that's awesome.
And it's just, that is blowing up so big that how much more do we want to take is the thing. And that's where I want to, you know, instead of expanding to where we just have hundreds of crews, hundreds of trailers and things like that, I would rather franchise or go and teach other companies to do it. So that's what the big goal is, rather than us just growing so huge ourselves to where we're having to manage so many people. We can manage franchise owners. That's, you know, easy to keep doing, and making sure they're doing things, you know, to our standards if they're going to keep our name. If they're not, then hey, we'll teach you how to do it, and then your reputation's up to you. So that's the kind of choice, and that's the kind of, you know, buy-in program. If you're going to be a part of us and have our name representing you, then you're going to do it like we do. You're going to treat people like we treat them, which is how we want to be treated.
I know my overall goal in the end is to buy into your company. I'd like to be able to learn how it is that you're doing that with your trailer. I don't want to have my own company. I don't want to have my own name, but I would love to have my own like truck and my own like, you know, crew. And I would love if through example, I could kind of show, you know, the general public how easy it is to structure. And if you did want to go ahead and, I know that I don't know about you entrepreneurs. I know that statistically, especially Gen Z, is expected to, and I would assume that this trend is only going to double with Gen Alpha, but you do see a larger percentage of people that are just kind of minded to be entrepreneurs. I think that landscaping is something that I have noticed that is not going anywhere. I think that the whole idea of cockroaches inheriting the earth is incorrect. Cockroaches in Bermuda, grass will inherit the earth, and we're going to be here to cut it.
Absolutely. And I mean, again, you know, it's not an if, and I say this, you know, like a broken record kind of to everybody, but it's not if things are going to switch to electric.
It's when.
It's when. Because, again, it's efficient. And the extra bonus is what you're doing for the planet, the pollution that you're eliminating. But my God, there's so many pluses, and the minuses are so minimal.
I want to see more young people starting landscaping companies and getting out there and trying to go solar. I think that is the future, guys. And I think that if you can hop on that trend before everybody else does, then that will be like being the first person that has a gas powered car when everybody else is still in carriages.
They say history repeats itself. here's kind of a way. It's just in a different form.
Right. People are trying to transport things by horse or by river, and you've got the first rail line.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. And now we're offering free gas that you can capture from the air.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know, without having to do anything other than have something to capture and hold it.
Exactly.
And that again is just something simple that you buy, and the turnaround of having to buy these, big lithium batteries that store the energy. I mean, I've already had some of these for years, and they're still just as strong as they were when I first got them. I mean, they're charge, recharge, charge, recharge, charge, recharge. And it's because the technology's, it's out there.
And
now it's just finally getting to where it's not so expensive.
What I think is really great about this is it's more than just like learning for myself, but I'm really excited about educating as well. I really strongly would love to see more people go solar and switch to electric. Now, I would like to open up the conversation a little bit more because I know that there are a lot of people that immediately do hop on that whole thing about, the environmental issues of, some of electric.
And that's where I'm going to give you a book when you leave.
Okay.
So that way you can see all of our research, because we had applied for a grant when we first were starting this to try and, grow big and get some help from, NSF, the National Science Foundation, and, didn't get it. They didn't think what we were doing was important enough. Still blows me away. But what we did gain out of it is the knowledge of what we're actually doing for the planet, for people, again, in eliminating all those different ways of polluting.
Right.
And that right there is plenty for me. That is like a grant. It's like I understand completely now. What I thought I was benefiting in is so far beyond and greater.
Right.
And I love that. And that's what gives me that passion to be like, I want to teach people to do this. Everyone can do it. It's just stop being scared.
And
return on investment is so instant.
As you guys continue to stay tuned, remember to like and subscribe to our channel. We are going to educate, and Mike has already done a lot of research into electric and solar. So I'm really kind of the one who's going to kind of represent all of you, I guess, in terms of like learning and being educated. And I would say one of the best ways that I learn is actually to eventually teach. So I'm actually really excited to kind of go on this journey with you guys as we discover more about solar solutions and also electric landscaping.
Love it.
Thank you, guys.
Do you want to play us out with a song?
No, I don't.
I brought the guitar up here for no reason at all. You request it, you're going to be disappointed.
It says I never say never.
Oh, awesome. Well, maybe on the next one, we'll have you play one of your new songs. I won't surprise it on you.